Hello, I'm Merrick, New South Wales and ACT Grants Program Manager for the Foundation for Rural and Regional Renewal, also known as FRRR. We're a national foundation that supports and advocates remote, rural and regional communities across Australia. We do this mainly through our grant programs, which support communities for the things that they need to do and to prosper. We have grant programs open throughout the year, and you can find them on our website. In this presentation, I'm going to share with you the 4 key stages of applying for a grant. I'll share with you skills and tips that can support you to develop a great grant application for FRRR and also any other grant program that you're looking at. These skills are transferable and they can help you develop a great project and also, hopefully, a winning grant application. The first stage is finding the opportunity. So if you've got a project and you're looking for funding, the first thing you need to do is look for the funding opportunity. FRRR has opportunities, but there are many other sources where you can find opportunities. Local, federal and state government have grant opportunities. Other philanthropy or charities have grant opportunities, and there's many ways that you can find them. There's lots of newsletters you can sign up to, definitely through the state government or territory government, depending where you are. Your local government and local community organisations usually put out newsletters notifying you of grant opportunities. So before you start to think about grants, it's always a good idea to think about, do I really need a grant? Is there another way that I can find that money? Is there a way that I can fundraise in my community or look at other options? Can I crowdfund or can I ask local businesses for support? But if you do want to proceed with a grant, the next thing that you need to consider is to make sure you find the right grant for you. Stage 2, planning and preparation. This is the foundational stage to developing a successful grant application and a great project. So the preparation stage is really understanding, and it's a great way to do this with your committee. So gather your community around or anyone else who's going to be involved in that project and ask these key questions. What? What are you going to do in your project? Why? Why are you doing this project? Why do you need the funding? Who's going to be involved in your project? How are you going to deliver this project? When is it going to happen? Are there critical dates? Where is it going to happen? Is there a special place you need to think about? Do you need to organise something? And how much is it going to cost? Do you understand how much you actually need? These are all important things that will probably take the most time for you to win your grant application, and it's always best to make sure that you have the answers to all of these questions before you start to write your application. So I'll just break down that stage 2 a bit more. So I'll talk about the what first. So the what you need to is thinking about what you're actually going to do. What are the things that you're going to deliver, and what are you actually going to do on the ground or in your community? Are you solving an issue in your community, or are you identifying and working with a great opportunity that's presented? So the what needs to be really clear. So a simple example of a what can be a community organisation who has a community hall, has a kitchen that isn't fit for purpose, and they want to upgrade their kitchen. So the project and the what for that project is that community group is removing the old kitchen, they're replacing it with a new kitchen, and they're engaging contractors. And the community is supporting them with volunteer hours to ensure that project happens. So the what is the kitchen upgrade, the old kitchen removal. In other examples, if you're delivering workshops, it's always good to explain in the what is the amount of workshops you're having, who's going to benefit from those workshops, and when they're going to happen. The next component is the why. Why do you need the money? Why are you, as an organisation, thinking of applying for a grant and asking for money? What's driven you to do this? Is there an issue that's in your community, a need that's come up that you're really decided that you're going to do something about, and as a committee, an organisation, they're going to do something? Is there an opportunity that's popped up that you want to address? So with the why, it's really important that you explain why you want to do this project and to back it up with evidence. And this evidence can come in forms of research, statistics, or it could be letters of support. So at FRRR, we accept letters of support in the traditional form of a letter, but we're also looking at new ways of letters of support, because we know that community groups are time poor and they're already really busy doing a lot of things. So we're happy if you can send us an email that somebody sent. So we know it's really hard asking for letters of support, but if you ask somebody to send you an email to explain, that they do want to be involved in your project and that they really believe in this project, you can attach that to your application. And this is for FRRR, but it can be the same for other organisations. It's always good to check what they accept for letters of support. We also at FRRR accept video footage of someone talking to camera or surveys of your community. So anything that you can think of that really evidences why you need that project, that will really support your application. The next component is the who. Who's going to be involved in that project? Who's going to deliver that project, and who's going to benefit from that project? And thinking about all of those other people or organisations that are going to be supporting that project. So explaining those people or those organisations, it really helps the assessors to understand that how many people or groups are involved in this project, and that it helps us to understand that the community really supports the project if you've got other groups or organisations that are supporting it. And also who's going to benefit from that project. So talking about the beneficiaries of that project, and if there are certain social demographics, it's always good to point that out. Just saying the broad community doesn't really give us an idea of who's really going to benefit. So if you can really sort of explain the beneficiaries, that really supports us as assessors to understand who's going to benefit from that project. The next component is project details, the how, when and where. So how is that project going to be delivered? Is it in stages? Are there tasks that people need to do? Thinking about how are you going to deliver that project and explain that in your application. The when is the project going to happen? Are there critical dates? Are there timings that you need to be considered, you need to think about? You need to show us, especially if you've got some construction or building occurring, you need to make sure that you are clear to us that you can deliver it within that time frame. The where. Where is the project going to happen? It's really critical to let us know. If the project's going to happen in lots of different places, it's really helpful to note those down. And then if there's any special conditions that you might need, so if you're going into schools, have you thought about all of the things that you need to do to make sure that you can deliver those projects in schools or any other place? The next component is how much will it cost? So this is thinking about all of the components of the costs of your project, thinking about your budget and making sure that you've thought about all of those things and whether that you can deliver them in time and whether you have enough funding to deliver them. The costs also include other things like co-contribution. So if you as an organisation are contributing your own money, or another partner is joining you and they're contributing their money, it's always good to put that in. Especially if you're thinking about the component of in-kind. So in-kind is any money, time or resources that other organisations or volunteers or anyone within the project is supplying, and that's not part of the funding request. So it's really good to think about all of those in-kind contributions. If another organisation is partnering with you and they're lending their skills and their time, then you can cost that out as an addition to the project. So that builds out the benefit of that project. And even if you're asking for only a small amount of money from the funder, then you're showing that you've got a huge amount of in-kind. It really goes to increase your opportunities to show that that project is supported by that community. And now we're up to stage 3, writing the application. So you've planned a great project and you found a grant opportunity that fits your project and your organisation. The next thing to do is write the application. So the first and most important thing to do is to look at the guidelines of that grant opportunity and look for the section that says eligibility, which is usually at the start of the grant guidelines. Make sure you read it and make sure that your organisation or group fits within those guidelines. So once you've realised you're eligible, then you can start writing the application. So make sure you follow all the instructions in the guidelines and in the application form, and make sure that you allow plenty of time. It always takes longer than you think. Even if you've planned and have everything ready to go, as you go through the application form, sometimes there's something that pops up that you hadn't thought of. So make sure you allow at least, a week would be great, but we know that everyone's time's poor, and most applications usually come in 5 minutes before the deadline. But make sure you try as hard as you can to allow plenty of time and start as early as you can. You'll also need to attach quotes or letters of support or whatever the funder is requiring, and they also take time. And be mindful of word limits and also upload limits with attachments as well. Make sure your budget's clear and it adds up. That's a really great thing to do, that make sure it adds up. And really one of the things that you do when you're writing an application is to tell a really compelling story. So assessors don't always know, assessors won't know who you are as an organisation or as a community or as a project. So it's really a great thing to do, is to really tell a story and to make the assessors feel and understand, really why you need that project and why it's a great project. So add, storytelling in there as well, a little bit of emotive language, but also make it really clear and concise. And now we're up to stage 4, reporting. So if you wrote a great grant application and you've got a great project and you've been successful, the next thing will happen is the funder will let you know that you've been successful, and along with that you'll also have some form of contract, agreement, or something that you'll need to sign or agree to. Along with that, you'll usually get a copy of your final report template or whatever it is that you need to report on at the end of your project. And this is a really good time at the start of your project to think about and read that final report, to think about all of the things that you need to report on at the end of your project. Because every funder will ask for something. It could be the number of activities delivered, it could be photos, it could be videos, it could be anything. So you need to know what you need to deliver at the end of the project, at the start of the project, and plan how you're going to do this. So now that we've gone through all the 4 key stages of applying for a grant, now that I hope you've taken away some skills and tips to write and develop a great project and an application for FRRR or any other grant opportunity. We have grant opportunities available on our website all throughout the year. You're welcome to contact us at any time to talk about your project, ask any questions, or ask for some support. I wish you all the best with your grant applications.